So you're doing it right now, actually, when we're talking on my show, which is a coaching show expressly for the purpose of healing these things. Mm-hmm. But you're also doing it when you do your work on etiquette, because you're such a model in terms of someone who has gone past an impediment. Mm-hmm. And we all have them. We do. We all have them. I mean, think about Stevie Wonder. Do you think of him, is he a blind man? Is he a blind musician? Is he a musician that happens to be blind?
Right.
Or is he a musician?
He's an amazing musician and part of the soundtrack of my youth who happens to be blind.
Okay.
Right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that's good. You got me there.
So yeah, think about Stevie Wonder. Yeah. You know, wear a necklace that reminds you of him, or let him be like a talisman for you. Because if you can do it, you can do it.
Right. Oh, I like that. That's good.
You know, even reach out to him. I'd suggest to reach out to him and see if he would be so kind as to give you some words of encouragement.
I will. One thing, I'm not as shy, thank goodness. So
yeah,
I will. Okay. Thank you, Reba.
You're welcome. Now, the other things that I had heard two other things. Mm-hmm. Two other people that live inside you. We all have committees. So you've got this big, bold, wonderful person that's all on fire, and it's all lit up and bright and shining, and that's the little girl, and that's who you are when you're doing it. You don't have time to worry about it.
Uh-huh.
Right? So that's one. Mm-hmm. Then I heard there's this other you, and each of these are going to take some time to unpack, so we won't be able to do it all here, but the other you was a pretty strict taskmaster.
Yes. It's true. I'm very type A. I am. And it's true.
But it's not working out that well all the time.
Right.
Because sometimes it's great. It got you to do stuff. But while you were talking about I should this and I should that, you were also talking about wanting to really retreat. So there's a part of you that's not really responding well to that approach.
Right, that's true. That's interesting. It's true. I think part of it is I feel like if I'm not driving myself, that I'm letting my past down and I'm letting my future down, and all of the amazing people like my family and my friends who have put so much into me. I feel like it's not fair to slow down. I feel like I have to sort of actualize all of my blessings and my gifts and my potentials.
Yes.
Because, it's before you know it, it's all over. And it's like, what did I leave behind? What did I do with what I was given? So I push myself. Yeah. And I definitely see where it's not always healthy, but I think it's sort of that feeling of guilt if I don't make the most out of what I have or what I can do.
Right. Sort of. But is guilt the best motivation?
No, not traditionally. No, it doesn't bear the best fruit. It doesn't.
Yeah, so I'm with you 100% on, leaving a legacy and fulfilling yourself to the utmost and fulfilling your promise. I'm with you on that. But I don't think that the taskmaster has to always be the leader. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying throw it out, because like I said, it can have its uses. Like, you've got something due tomorrow. I'm sure you're the kind of person that will stay up all night and get it done. And, you're producing, yes, which is important. I agree. But who is that taskmaster's voice inside your head? Does it have a personality? Is it the voice of your father or mother?
I would say, in one sense, okay, this is kind of complicated. It is my mother, but it isn't. It's myself saying that I owe it to my mother, if that makes any sense. Right. So it's nothing that she ever, imposed on me. And it's funny, my mother was, she was a disciplinarian. My mother was very sophisticated. She was very much, not a perfectionist. She was just well-rounded and sort of like the whole package. And she had expectations of us, growing up. However, the sort of the paradox is she was fine with the person that we chose to be. My mother never put those sort of expectations on us. Now she raised us a certain way, but then once we were adults, she was happy for us to just be our best selves. So she never put direct pressure on us in that sense. But I think so much pressure that I put on myself comes from wanting to do her legacy, the right amount of respect. I put pressure on myself to make her happy and to make her proud of me, even when she's completely fine with whatever I'm doing. And I lost on last June, but I can't turn off that habit, if that makes sense. I'm still doing it.
Well, maybe for a minute, speak in your mother's words and tell yourself what your mother would say from heaven. If she could tell you to relax a little because what you're doing isn't helping, what would your mother tell you? That it's okay to be you. Just be you. And get what you need. If you need to curl up under the covers one day, it's okay. You can have that soft time.
She would. I think she would tell me, like you said, that it's okay, that where she is now, she can see things so much more clearly, and she would say, be the best you, but it's okay. You're enough. Not necessarily what you do, but you are enough. I think that's.
What else would she tell you?
She would tell me she was proud of me. She would. And she would tell me that if I didn't do anything else, that she would be proud. And she would probably tell me that just, laugh, smile, pray, hug, eat, love. Just that it's okay.
Yeah, you're enough. You are your legacy. You are your biggest creation. Your life is a masterpiece. It's not just what you do. I think she would see that from heaven. Like we are so conditioned to run after this thing called success and all that it means in terms of, products and accomplishments. And I think when we get to heaven, we'll realize, what was I doing all that for?
Mm-hmm. I believe that.
Especially if it makes us unhappy. I mean, when we're happy doing it, then it's wonderful. But when it's making us feel guilty and I should have done better and I could have done more and why didn't I do, we're basically beating up on ourselves.
Right. And I think that it's harmful, but I think it's doubly harmful because I do love what I do so much. So why isn't that enough? I'm fortunate. I get to, a lot of people are in a 9-to-5 that, they don't find to be fulfilling and I love what I do, And there are times I know that that should be enough, that I don't have to keep looking to the next level and the next level. I think it's going to take some practice.
You know, I know a lot of people like you and like me, we're creating our own lifestyles, we're creating our own businesses and our own enterprises, and we're really leaders in a new way. And we were talking, just so the audience becomes part of this, we were talking before the show began about matriarchy and about the divine feminine and the sacred feminine and all that. And I think what we're doing is, through our work becomes a vehicle for us to learn a different way of working, because we've been conditioned in a very patriarchal way of just push, 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 and, no pain, no gain. I mean, it's all
that's true.
Yes. And we're rebalancing it. So I think like a wonderful, it's wonderful that you said, but you love what you're doing. And that is like also so true of me. Mm-hmm. I love what I'm doing. And I want to do it in a different way than I did my last business, which was a dance. I don't want to push, push, push like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's interesting. May I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So do you think that part of the difficulties that not just myself, but that a lot of women face today, especially entrepreneurs, do you think it's part of the growing pains of shifting those paradigms? Do you think this is just part of the discomfort of shaping not just our own destinies, but how we want to go about, even in a practical way, of writing our own narratives, because it is so different from how we've been raised? I never thought of it that way, but do you think that could explain some of the not opposition, but again, some of the emotional friction?
Yes.
That we feel as, basically as female entrepreneurs, or as people who, we're doing things our own way, in a different way.
Yes. And it's interesting. Yes, absolutely. 100%. And it's interesting because, I'm a coach and you're an etiquette, and these are such sensitive areas. We're really, especially the way you do etiquette, it's all about kindness and these very feminine characteristics. Mm-hmm. And yet we're trying to do it in a masculine way sometimes.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh, this is awesome. Yes. Yeah.
And I think what it is, because we're sensitive and because the time is opening up like that for us to be aware of this, we're like, ow, this really hurts. Like the way you are, like when you're like, I should push myself, but then there's another part of you that is really going, oh, I just don't want to,
Yes. I know we're running out of time, but I think this is wow, this is karmic. This morning I got an email from LinkedIn Pulse. That sometimes they do a series of seminars. Yeah. And I read an article, and again, I didn't know this would come up, or I would have remembered who wrote the article. But it was an entrepreneur who was talking about how difficult it is for female CEOs to get seed money or financing or financial backing for their ideas. And there was a conference, and some of the leading female entrepreneurs in the country were there, including Jessica Alba, who, as you know, started the Honest company, and that's $1 billion company. And they were on the panel, and most of the attendees were financial backers or potential financial backers. All of them were male, and the questions they were asking these amazing women, it was embarrassing. And so after the conference, she wrote an article about how we're still marginalized. They get not even 20% of all the seed money that's dispersed to new startups across the country. I could go on, but again, I think that speaks to what you were saying about, how we've been taught to do business as opposed to how we organically want to do business.
Yes. And it goes back to what we spoke about in the beginning about, like, there's two ways. There's domination and there's kindness. And those two systems, they almost don't talk to each other. So you get this very men are from Mars, women are from Venus thing, and they're just like, they have to learn how, that's right. The problem where the men are approaching it the way they have been doing, and the women are like, huh?
It feels like fuzzy logic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow, this has been incredible.
I just can't believe how everything tied into the same message. This has been amazing. I'm going to need to digest this. This is good.
Awesome. I'm so glad. And it's been such a privilege for me to talk to you. You're an amazing woman. And I want to get your book and and read it and share it with the young people in my life, because I do have 2 very young people in my life. So I want to share.
Oh, Reba, awesome.
Yeah. So why don't you just in 30 seconds say your name again, and maybe your website and the name of your book again, so people know where to find you.
Okay. My name is Tara Woods Turner, and I'm the author of Beyond Good Manners: How to Raise a Sophisticated Child. And it's available on Amazon, Amazon.com. And my author page is also linked to my books page, so you can contact me there, or on Facebook, on Goodreads, especially. Again, Beyond Good Manners: How to Raise a Sophisticated Child.
Wonderful. And I hope that everyone in our audience will definitely look that up and share it with the young people in their lives, because now I understand the title. Before, I didn't know what you meant by a sophisticated child.
Yeah.
Now I understand your sense of sophisticated, and I'm right there with you.
Yes,
So,
just a love of learning, just
yes.
a no fear approach to new ideas and experiences.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I'm going to have to wrap this up. I'm going to thank everyone. Thank you for being our guest today. It was wonderful to have you.
Thank you, Reba.
You're welcome. And thanks to everyone who's watching today's episode of Paint Yourself into the Picture. To see more programs that I offer, please visit my website, which is rebalinker.com, where you'll find out more about my books, courses, and coaching. If you'd like to be a guest on Paint Yourself into the Picture, please visit vcntv.com/paintyourselfintothe-picture, one word, /apply. Remember to like this video and leave your comments below. Join us again next week for another coaching session on Paint Yourself into the Picture.
To watch the rest of this episode, click on the link below the video now if you're on YouTube. And if you're on Facebook, click on the Watch the Full Episode button when the video is done.